Hey everybody, welcome to FabFit Friday. Today is going to be a fun day. I'm going to be working on the two pairs of Sorcha Classic Slim trousers that I have started, and they're in varying degrees of being finished. So we're going to be tackling the waistband and the hem. And you'll notice behind me I have an outfit on my dress form because I'm also trying to plan my outfits. I'm going to Puyallup on Tuesday next week for Sew Expo, and I'm trying to curate a capsule wardrobe for to wear. And I think because I'm traveling, across country, I'm bringing 4 suitcases with as much stuff as I can put in my booth. I'm going to try to do double duty with my, what I'm wearing, and also with what I have in my booth for samples. So I'll probably be rotating samples out of my booth to use as samples in the booth, and then I also wear them to different things that I'm doing during the week. So I'm kind of excited about that. And if any of you joined me for the Anna dress class last weekend, I actually am wearing the Anna dress I made in class, and you can see it's a nice bright color red. And I'm kind of excited about that. I have lined little cap sleeves, so I can show you. See, they're lined and they're nice and finished. And I have my little V-neck, so I can stand up and show you. Let me see here. So here is what the dress looks like. It's just a nice, easy breezy, sort of a fit and flare skirt. And I'm excited about the color red, apparently, because lots of things that I'm making lately have been red. And of course my glasses are red. Someone pointed out that to me during the Anna dress class. So they kind of match my glasses. And so I think I'm going to be turning red. I'm super excited. This fabric is rayon jersey from what do I want to say? Rayon jersey from Gorgeous Fabrics. It was a dream to sew. There were no curling edges. It did not wrinkle. I took it out of the dryer. I didn't have to press it. So if you want a nice quality rayon jersey, I did get this at Gorgeous Fabric. Hi Diane, welcome. Yep, we're going to be seeing red here because now what I'm going to do is show you the waistband of my linen pants. They're not sewed yet, but I'm going to show you how I constructed this waistband and how I finished the raw edge of the facing. And then I'm just going to show you, if anybody follows along with me, you know I do not baste. Not a baster, but I'm going to be doing some little basting. I'm going to show you. Let me just stop and say hi. Hi, Sally. Oh, you love the red. You finished your fitting waistband. Yay! Moving on to cutting out your Sorcha leg muslin. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be a lot of fun working with that muslin, Sally. So please keep me posted if you need help. And Lean, welcome. Thank you. I am kind of excited. Like, who knew I liked bright colors? Like, I'm really excited. So let's switch from this red to another red. And basically what I'm going to do, instead of switching scenes in my OBS, I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to drag myself. Oops, wait a minute. What am I doing here? This, I don't know what that is. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to drag myself. Oh, wait a minute. Mary, yeah, Mary, I think of you every time I order a color that's not Oh, here we are. I'm sorry. Every time I order a color that's not black, gray, or navy, I think of you, Mary. Oh, Julie says she's enjoying my venture into color. And Diane says, excited to see so many of us are doing the Sorcha trousers. I'll be ordering my waistband kit and do a start over. Oh, okay. Well, Diane, if you need help, please let me know. All right. What is going on? Hold on. I had this all set up. This says F3, but it's... Okay, where is my F3? Hold on. Wait, hold on a second. I had this all set up, so all I had to do was... Hold on one second. All right, hold on. Here we go. Is this it? I had this all set up, so all I had to do was drag this one screen over. Oh, here it is. Okay, there we are. I was trying something different in terms of making it easy for me to show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to make myself tiny. Maybe I'll put myself over here for now. You can see another bright color in the background, that blue cardi. I'm going to bring that with me too, and I'm going to wear it with my Frenchy jeans. If any of you remember my Frenchy jeans, I have. Oops, bring this over. So this is going to be one of my outfits with a black tank top for Puyallup. Let me just make it big so you can see. So if you remember my Frenchy jeans, I was delighted. I put these on this morning and they still fit me. So yay. And then I'm going to wear it with this bright cardi and a black tank top. So that's going to be another outfit I'm going to be wearing in Puyallup that has some color. Okay. So now let's get to business here that I finally figured this out. Sally says, Jen's waistband kit is really great. Gathering the materials would have taken me forever. Well, thank you, Sally, for saying that. And that's kind of why I offered the kit for people who didn't want to like run around and try to find everything that you needed to make it with. It's kind of simple stuff, but you know, if you don't have it, then it's, and then she said it's not complicated. I know they're simple, all simple things, but if you don't have them, then it just makes it easier. Oh, Mary says I'm going to be styling. I'm kind of excited. All right, let me move. Hi, is it Amna or Anna? Welcome. I'm super excited today. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to move me back out of the way. Whoops. I thought this would be easier than switching between scenes. Okay, so you can see here, this is what I want to talk about now. And what I have here is, I'm just going to make it just a tad brighter. I'm going to make sure we're sharp, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I want to talk about this waistband. And you can see I am now, I will tell you, I am going to be a complete convert to Taylor Seville pins. And also I'm starting to use their smart clips. I'm going to do a detailed tutorial on the smart clips for Fit Tip Tuesday this week. So if you want to see how to use them, they have seam allowance markings on them. So I'm like super excited about these clips, and I've been using them. And one thing I want to talk about is when you go to fold your waistband facing inside your pants and you press everything into position, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. Sometimes clipping it shut and letting it sit by itself kind of gets the fabric to go where you want it to go. So when you go to top stitch, it's sort of behaving for you. But what I want to show you here is I'm not going to sew this waistband up today because I'm going to show you start to finish how to do the waistband on the tan pants. But basically, I want to show you the inside here. Now what I did was I used the gray knit to finish the edge of the facing. Hi Andrea, welcome and good morning. And so you can see that just makes a nice finish here for the facing. And then on the ends, I'm just going to unzip my zipper a little bit more. Now on this side, I turned the very beginning of the knit strip under just to make sure it wouldn't poke out from and be visible from the right side of the fly. And I'm just going to take this clip off and give you some tips here. If you want to use a knit strip, a knit strip to finish your facing, then what you're going to want to do, and I'm just going to zoom in here so you can see the detail, and I'll make it just a tad brighter just so you can see. Basically, I'm going to take this clip off and show you. What I did was I left an inch on this side to fold on inside, right? And then, let me take this other pin out too. I folded it in, and then I clipped the corner back a little bit, okay? And I also took the binding off the first like 3/4 of an inch, and that's going to reduce the bulk. So you can see once this is folded back up, this folds under just that little bit, and then it folds down and it goes into place like this. Okay, so you want to make sure that these edges are nice and even. And remember, I said putting this clip here really helps hold everything. And then if you've got it set like that, I'm just going to go out on the right side and put this pin back. It'll make it easier for you to sew. So basically what I'm going to do on this side is, I just want to show you here, I'm just going to take a hand needle, and I just want to show you how easy this is in terms of doing a little hand basting. And you guys know I'm not a baster, but what I've realized is in some cases basting is like super helpful. And I'm going to leave, I'm not going to do a knot here, I'm just going to leave like a 3-inch tail. And then I'm essentially going to just whip stitch this shut so the edges are matched up like this. And I guess I can remove this clip now. But essentially I'm just whip stitching it shut. And I want you to time me on how long this takes. And I'm being careful not to pull my tail out because I don't want to knot it because I want to be able to make it easy to remove the stitching after. But basically, you can see here, I'm just whip stitching those front edges together. And I'm just going to keep my tail from getting caught up in my stitching here. I want to keep that separate. Okay, so see what I'm doing? It's just whip stitching shut. And what that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to top stitch along both these edges nice and neat without worrying about pins and without worrying about it shifting around. And again, I am not a hand baster, but see how nice that holds it nice and neat? Hi, Frank. Hello, very nice lady. When you get a chance, could you please kindly film how to thread and operate your sewing machine, please? Kindly let me know. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if you know, but I have oops, I can't show you right now. Oh, I can do it like this. So I have a Janome 6700P, and I actually will be threading that in a little bit if you want to hang out. And welcome, by the way. All right, so see how we have this nice basting and everything is nice and neat and organized? And that's going to help me top stitch along this edge nice and easy. So I'm just going to continue basting, and over here the whole idea is I just want to hold down this folded edge so nothing pops out while I'm stitching. And I'm not going to baste any more past here, but just for that little folded edge, I'm just going to baste it into position like this, big whip stitches, and then I'm going to take that out after it's sewn. All right, so that's going to keep it nice and flat so I can sew that on the machine later. And I'm just going to take one stitch over here and I'm just going to clip it. All right, so I'm going to do both sides of this. I'm not going to show you how to baste the opposite side, but yes, we will be winding a bobbin, Frank. This is your lucky day. Thank you for joining. Okay, so there's my basting. And then on this side, what I want to show you, notice on this side, the side, and this is the left side where the zipper is sewn. Yeah, the left side. Basically, wherever the zipper is here, you want to make sure you turn your edge up. So see what I did here? I did the same thing. I left extra, and I took out the binding, so when I pressed it down and into position, it was not so bulky. And then I also turned I just completely turned that edge under for about 3 inches. So that's how that edge is finished, the side where the zipper pull is. All right, and I am going to baste this side before I sew it as well. So let me just put this pin back here. And then I just want to show you one other thing before we switch into the other pair of pants here. Just get this nice and sharp. The seamstress at the cottage, welcome. You're so happy you've caught it live. I miss it because of the time difference. Well, I'm so happy you're with us as well. This is going to be a fun episode because A, I'm organized, and B, I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff about finishing waistbands and hems. So you can see here now, this is going to be ready to sew, and I'm going to show you how to do it on the other pair. But the one thing I want to talk about is, before you start finishing your waistband, after you've got it all sewn and pressed, you want to make sure that your waistband matches left to right. That is the biggest telltale sign of, pants that you sewed at home and it looks more, it doesn't look professional. That's all I want to say. So you want to make sure that the top edges of your waistband match and the seam at the bottom of the waistband matches. So you have this nice clean finish left to right over the top of the zipper. So this pant has the very generous front slash pockets open. On the second pair of pants I'm working with today, I actually sewed them shut. So this is all I'm going to show for the waistband on this pair. I'm going to move myself over here. So I'm going to move those out of the way. And now I'm going to show you, let's start with the pattern pieces and the what you need to cut out here. So now I'm going to make it a little less bright so you can see. And I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger so you can see everything. Lean says, did you use the straight waistband or the curved one? I used the slightly contoured waistband. And I will tell you, this waistband has such a small contour to it. I think it can work for almost anybody. But what I wanted to say was, this was my process. I cut out my waistband, and you can see it's right here. I interfaced it with my cotton fuse interfacing. Then I put my pants on. I wrapped the waistband around, overlapping it at the top of the pant, just to check the length and to make sure I liked how it was fitting. So the other thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to be adjusting the rise in the back a little bit. So I'm going to show you that as well. But this is my waistband, and I added 3 inches to the waistband to make sure I had enough room for the overlap, because I let my pattern out. So just keep in mind, if you're fitting your pants and you make changes to the ease at the waist, you might want to add some extra to the center front side so it's long enough. And actually, it's a little bit too long. I'm going to show you where I'm going to be trimming it. But basically, I cut out one of these. And then for this pair, I made a second pattern piece. Now you notice this pattern piece is a 1/4 inch narrower, I trimmed off the bottom 1/4 inch on the facing pattern piece. So I traced a second waistband and I trimmed a 1/4 inch off the bottom. Let me show you how that looks. So I've already sewn my waistband together at the center back. So the reason why this pattern has a center back seam is because it's easier for fitting. Like if you ever have to take it in, you can pick it apart at your center back and then you can take it in at the center back seam. So it's got a center back, and notice that the facing is a 1/4 inch narrower than the waistband itself. I have it positioned right sides together, and for the facing, I'm using a cotton cotton fabric that I use for the pocket bags for the facing for the waistband. So I've got it all set up here, and I'm using these smart pins by Taylor Seville. And the cool thing about these smart pins, I just want to show you here, they have, if I can get it so you can see it, see how you can see there's 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch markings on this clip. So if I were to put my clip at the first marking, which would be right here, that's a 1/4 inch from the edge. And then if you put it on the second marking, this edge is a 1/2 inch from the edge. So to use it as a seam guide, I'm putting it 3/8 of an inch, so halfway between the 1/4 and the 1/2 inch. And I'm going to use that as a visual guide to help me sew my 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I know I need to be 1/8 of an inch away from this edge to get the full 1/2 inch. Lean says, I use the same, but now it is too wide in the center back, and that shows on the inside. I use the same. Okay, so Lean used, you used the curved waistband and it's too wide. Is that what you're saying to me? I don't know what that means, Lean. Tell me more about what you're talking about. And while we're doing that, Diane thinks the clips are great and she needs to order ASAP. Okay. And then here's another thing Taylor Seville has. Like, I do like the Choco liners, but their chalk comes with this plastic case, so it stays nice and it doesn't break. And then the back has a textured back, so you can actually use it to sharpen your edge again. So I'm also in love with their chalk. Like, I had never heard of this company. I'm like so excited. So anyway, I'm really excited about this chalk as well. So what I want to show you here is we're going to thread the machine, and actually I need to wind a bobbin as well because I have red in there. Oh no, I don't, but I will. All right, hold on. All right, so let me just show you here if I can find an empty bobbin in my box. Hold on one second. Just let me see if I have one. Of course I don't. All right, I'm just going to I just have a little bit of thread on this bobbin. I'm just going to take it off, and then I'm going to show you how to wind a bobbin and thread your machine. Now, it's been a long time since I've shown how to wind a bobbin, so I guess it's always good to have a refresher. Okay, so let me turn my machine on like this. Okay, so the first step to I have to move myself. I'll move myself down here for now. Okay, so to wind a bobbin on this machine, you take the thread and you wrap it around this little tension guide, and then there are holes in the bobbin. So if you have a 15 class bobbin, what you're going to do, let me just zoom in here so you can see. You're going to take the thread and you're going to stick it through the hole from in the middle of the bobbin up through the top of the bobbin like this. Okay, and here's the benefit of doing that. So see how you can see the thread coming up through the top of the bobbin? This now is the top of the bobbin when you put it in the bobbin case. So now I'm gonna just stick this on the bobbin winding thing. I'm gonna push this towards the bobbin and then I'm gonna press go and it's gonna wind. So while it's winding, oops, while it's winding, well, I guess I cut that off. You snip the thread and it's gonna wind. And most machines will have an auto stop. So you'll notice, see how it stopped? So it doesn't overfill, it just stops. So that's a kind of a cool thing. So now I'm gonna, oops, take the bobbin off the top. And I'm going to cut it. Now down here, the bobbin is going to go in like this. So this top was what was facing on top when I had it winding. And then I'm just going to thread it through the, hold on. Let me just do it like this. You can see what I'm doing. Okay. So it goes through this little clip right here to thread it, and then it's got a knife, so you just put it through this path and you cut off the tail. I'm just going to drag it through and cut it like that. And then the cover goes back on like that. So that's how you thread the bobbin. Now to thread the machine, I am just going to come behind here. There's a little guide, see at the top of the machine right here, right here. It goes behind there, and then it goes behind this clip right here. Okay, and then it comes down, it goes around, and then you want to make sure you click it into the take up lever, back down, and through the tension guide here. Now, one of the important things is you want to make sure your presser foot is up when you're threading, because when your presser foot is up, your tension disc is open so the thread can go between the tension disc. So when you put your presser foot down, you should feel tense thread. So see, I cannot pull my thread because it's in the tension properly. Okay, so that's how you thread the machine. And then I'm noticing that you want me to also show you how to use just the start stop button. If you need to just use the start stop button for one reason or another, you totally can. And the way that works is you're just gonna, here, I'll show you on a scrap. All right, so here, let's just use a scrap of linen that I have here, handy dandy. So to operate it with just the, oops, get this out of the way, sorry. Okay, so see, if I press the start button, oh, I have to unplug my presser foot first, and then I can just operate the machine like this, and it's got a speed monitor here. So see, if I have this on slow, see, I can go really slow and I can control it with the speed, you know, monitor, you know, to whatever's comfortable. But that's how you operate it with just the start stop button. Stop, start, so on and so forth. So that's how you can use the stop start button. I am not going to be sewing like that because I need to use both of my hands to hold on to what I'm doing, but that would be how you would use the start stop button. Okay, so now you can see here I've got my waistband and my facing pinned right sides together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this end here, and we are going to sew the waistband to We are going to sew the waistband to the facing using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to use a 3.0 stitch length because that's what I like. Okay, so I'm going to, oops, I'm also going to rethread my needle because it came unthreaded. Sometimes when I use the cutter on the side, that happens. All right, so basically, we are just going to thread the needle, and I'm going to start stitching here, and I'm just going to back up. Okay, so when I get to these clips, you'll notice I can stitch right over the clip. Okay, so see how close I can get, but you want to have at least 1/8 of an inch, you know, 1/8 of an inch between the needle and the tip of the clip. Okay, so 1/8 of an inch away. But I will tell you, I really am enjoying using these clips. And it kind of gives me a visual cue, you know, for what that 1/2 inch is. So see, as I'm coming to this, see how I'm actually running right over the clip. So that's how you can use these. And the nice thing is, you don't have to take them off as you come to them. So it's holding the fabric for you the entire time. Going over the seam allowances at the center back. I'm just going to go slow there. You know, visually, I'm also using the edge of the fabric here as a guide as well. Oh, Amy says, shoot, I forgot about the live, but I'm here now. Thanks, Jen, for your help with the uplands. Scooping the back crotch made a big difference. Oh, I am so happy to hear that. Okay. All right. All right, so I'm all done here. Just making sure my edges are accurate all the way to the end. Okay. Now, one way that you can start checking to make sure your waistband's going to agree is if you check your seam allowances and make sure they're equal on both ends right here, because then you know that if they're equal here, likely they'll be finished and equal when you go to, you know, once the whole waistband is finished. I'm going to take these clips off now, and then we're going to understitch. Anybody new to understitching? Understitching is when you stitch through both the facing and the both seam allowances. So I'm going to open up my waistband and facing like this. So see, there's my seam allowances. I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to line up the edge of my presser foot here with the seam, and I'm just going to understitch. And Frank says, beautiful sewing skills. Thank you, Frank. Sometimes I'm not perfect, but you know, I always try to be neat and tidy. So I'm going to understitch here, and when I understitch, I'm going to pull the fabric away from each other this way, and that's going to provide a little bit of tension, and it's going to keep the facing from showing on the right side of your garment. Notice I'm taking my time. All right, so also next week there's going to be no Fat Fit Friday because I'm going to be in Puyallup. So sorry about that. I'll try to post lots of and action pictures. And if I don't post them during the day, because sometimes I get really busy and I don't have time during a class to post, I'll try to remember to, you know, post them before I get in bed. All right, so Frank is now asking me to film how to operate the sewing machine electric foot pedal. That's what I'm doing, Frank, right now. I am pressing on the foot pedal to make the machine go. I'm not using the start-stop button, but it is fun to notice every time I stop, it turns green, and every time I start sewing, it turns red here. But I'm using the presser foot, and it looks like this, in case you're wondering. This is what it looks like. So I'm just pressing down on it like a gas pedal. It's on the floor. I don't understand. Oh, shut up. My watch wanted to get in on this. All right, so I'm just sewing along, pressing on the foot pedal. All right, so the other thing I want to talk about is I showed you how it looks to use a strip of fabric to finish the edge of the facing, but also here, if you want to do a quick down and dirty clean finish, I used my serger. I used my serger to clean finish the facing with a narrow 3-thread, and I think you can see that it's I just made the stitches very close together, so it covers the raw edge of the fabric almost completely like a ribbon. So that's another nice way to finish the edge of your facing. And if you don't want to take the time to trim off the 1/4 inch off of your pattern piece, you can just trim a 1/4 inch off as you're finishing the edge if you're using the serger. So that's how I finished this. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to get my pressing surface here. And, oh, Frank, I can't show you how to operate the foot control from the ground while I'm sewing and show that to you too as well. I'm so sorry. But basically, think about it like a gas pedal of a car. You just press down on it, and it, you know, the harder you press, the faster it goes, basically. All right, so what I'm going to do here now is I am just going to give this a nice press because I want my understitching to lay nice and flat. I'm just going to give it a nice press flat. Let me change the view. All right, so just going to give this a nice press. Now it's not laying flat because it's on a curve here. So once I press it down, it will lay flat along that back contoured edge. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it like this. And when I press this down, I want to make sure I can see the roll of the fabric, the garment fabric. So as I press it, I'm going to make sure I see just like a little 1/16 of an inch of the fabric. Now the cotton I'm working with is pretty hefty, so I'm going to use these clips. It's almost like when you use a book to weight down your something that you want to make a crease in. Using these little clips will help the pressed edge stay pressed, almost like using a clapper to get a nice crease. But instead of clapping it and really forcing the fabric that way, I'm basically going to force it by clipping it into position after I press it. So you can see as I clip it, it helps it stay nice and flat, like this. I'm just going to clip it, and so I'll just work on this one side all the way to the end. And again, I'm going to really give this a good press. I'm going to hold it down for a second. Okay, so see how nice that looks? Nice and crisp. And all right, this is getting a little bit wider, so I'm just rolling it back a little bit more. You want to keep a consistent amount of the fashion fabric showing. Oops. All right, so I'm going to put these clips here, and I'm going to do the other side. But you can see they're holding the fabric nice. Ellen would like to know, what pressing surface are you using? I thought heat would warp the cutting mat. All right, so this is one of those June Taylor cut and press boards. So it actually has, this one has a pressing surface on both sides, and it's got a little bit of a hard piece of maybe very skinny plywood in the middle of it, so it protects the iron. Oh, wait, Frank is saying, kindly show the sewing machine electric foot pedal being used. Mary says, Frank, the foot pedal is the foot pedal. It lies on the floor when you press it with your foot. The machine runs when you press on it. How hard you press determines how hard the machine stitches. Yes, I will show you one more time. This is the foot control. So see, you press down on it, and it sews like a foot control. It's beeping. My machine is beeping, listen. Because the presser foot is up, it won't sew unless my presser foot. So presser foot and foot pedal are two different things. This is the foot pedal, like the gas pedal. And then the presser foot is what's on the actual machine that I sewed with. So this is what it looks like, and you step on it like this with your foot, and that's how you sew. Okay. All right, so let me just finish pressing this now. Oh, Diane is also suggesting that you can find sewing machine operation tutorials on YouTube, even by specific brands. Just so you can, pick what you want. And then if you want to know about sergers, I actually have two series on my YouTube channel about how to operate two different brands of serger. All right, so I'm just finishing pressing this. And again, I'm going to clip it with these clips. Where did I put the rest of my clips? Here's some more. Okay. All right, so we're just going to put some more clips on there to hold it like this. And the cool thing is I can have these clips on while I'm sewing the next step. So it's almost like the tougher cotton fabric is going to, give up, because we're basically manhandling it with these clips. Okay, so I've got the clips on, and now we're going to look at the next step. I'm going to put my iron back. I'm going to move my pressing thing out of the way. So before we sew the waistband onto the pants, I want to show you something else. So in the process of, hold on a second, I'm going to put this here. Okay, so in the process of doing my doing my final fitting, I just want to show you here. Here's my pants. Okay, and see how the back is picking up? It's much higher than the front. Now, it may be that I needed all of that, but after I got all the fitting done, I looked in the back, and you'll notice here, where did my little chalk go? Let me make it darker so you can see what I marked. But basically, this amount right here ended up being a little bit too high. So basically, between my two darts that are closer to the side seam, I'm going to cut that off because it was bumping up on me after I tried it on without my fitting waistband. So I am going to actually make sure I don't cut through anything else but this, and I'm literally just going to cut this off like this before I put my waistband on. So I recommend, checking your, check how your waistband is lying before you put your waistband on, because you might want to make some small adjustments based on where that final waistband is sitting. I'm just going to smooth that out. And you can see from the front, I have been wearing these pants. This is almost embarrassing to say. I've been wearing these pants while teaching. When I was teaching my pants fitting class for Fabric Mart, I had these on the whole time. So you can see all of these wrinkles are from me sitting in these pants. They are so comfortable. I cannot wait for them to be completely finished so I can wear them out in public. And then the other thing is, while I kept the front pocket open, while I kept it open on the linen ones, here is another option for you. If you like the look of a front pocket, but you're never going to put anything in your front pocket, I actually top stitched these shut. So they're going to stay shut. And what I think I might do is, after I'm done, see how the folded edge pops up that little bit? I think I'm going to take my Dremel and just sand it to give it a frayed look there, because this particular cotton, it makes a really nice frayed edge. Let me show you on the one I washed. Let me see if I can find in the edge. Look at how nice this fray is. Now, of course, it's messy because, it's out of the wash and I didn't trim it, but it does make a really nice frayed edge. So I'm thinking what I might do for these is, on the fold of the pocket, I'm just going to use my Dremel, or I could probably even use like one of my emery boards, right? And just sand it, right along that edge, so it kind of starts to fray a little bit to give it like a distressed look. So that's what I'm going to do with these pants. Okay. So, but now you can see I've got it all ready to go in terms of, ready to put the waistband on. Sally says, if the pants pattern comes with a straight waistband, Jutland pants, should I start using the waistband style in the pattern, or could I use the curved waistband I've already made? Pros and cons. All right, well, Sally, I really think if you're going to fit a pattern, the shape of the waistband really should be what fits you better, because if you're working with a let's say a straight waistband, right, you may need to actually make it more contoured or less contoured depending on what you need to fit your shape. So even a contoured waistband might need to be like taken in more in the back, making it more curved to fit you so it doesn't gape away. So if you've got a waistband that fits you really nicely and you use that to fit your muslin, you should be able to use it to for your pants, because you're fitting the muslin to that waistband. And really the whole goal of the waistband is just to fit you comfortably where you want your waistband to sit. So I don't see any problem with using a contoured waistband on a with a pattern that has a straight waistband, as long as you fit it that way. And then also the other important thing is, remember, every time you put that waistband on, make sure it's around your waist the same place it was every time, because if you keep moving it up and down, or if it's shifting around, then it's going to hang differently. So just keep it on a consistent, consistent place on your waist, and I'm sure that will be fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna tuck myself back up into the corner. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to take my waistband and I'm going to pin it to my waist of my pants. And basically, oops, it's a little less bright here. I'm going to start at the center back. Let's turn this around. And I'm going to line up the seam of the waistband with the seam, center back seam of my pants. And actually, I can see I didn't top stitch that yet. I'm going to do that later. All right, so this is pretty heavy duty here. So I'm going to use a clip for there. And I'm just going to use one of my other favorites, my Wonder Clips here now. Okay, and then I'm just going to fit the waistband onto, oh, I think I'm just going to use clips. I'll put the waistband on now. I'm just going to clip it onto the top of my waistline. And you can see I'm still keeping these in place to help, to help my pressed top edge stay nice. And they're not getting in my way. The other thing you want to pay attention to is you want to make sure before you put your waistband on that the waistline is fitting the way you want it to fit. So if you have your pants on and you're still pulling them up and they're not staying up by themselves, then you need to, you need to take them in a little more. Just move this like this so you don't see the top of my head. Not attractive. So basically, see what I'm doing is I'm just pinning it 1 to 1 here across the entire thing. And you can see I added, remember I told you I added 3 inches to the waistband. You can see I didn't need to really on this side. So I'm going to cut off the extra that I don't need after I sew it on. But basically, I've got it pinned there. Then I'm going to come around and do the other side. So you can work in one direction and then the other. I'm pressing my seam allowances. My side seams are going to the back. Oh, the seamstress in the cottage says, I love the curved waistband. It fits so well. I do think curved waistbands fit the majority of people better. What's good for a straight waistband is if you have a defined waist and you want your waistband to sit right in that smaller area, then a straight waistband fits nicely too, because it likes to nestle into the smallest part of you. So if you want to fit your waistband, to a, fit it to a place on your body that's not the smallest part, the curve helps it stay put there. All right, so notice I don't have as much extra on this side, so that's why I added it. So the side where you've got your crotch or your fly extension on the right, okay, so this is my fly extension. I needed more of that. And also, it's because I also let it out. So just like I'm saying, just double check your waistband before you cut it out. Make sure it's long enough. So now we're going to sew, and I'm going to sew with the waistband against the machine. And Lori would like to know what size needle I'm using. I am using a size, well, I don't even know. It's either a 12 or a 14 all-purpose needle. I can't remember what's in there, I'll be completely honest with you. But I do know it's either a 12 or 14 organ needle. Wait a minute, let me get this so I can show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to pick this up a little bit. Okay. All right, so let me show you how to sew this now. So basically what we're going to do here is we're just going to start. Oh, actually, you know what? I bought all my Wonder clips are going the wrong way, but I do want to sew with the waistband face down. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to see the tops of my zipper. So I'm turning my pants inside out. Forgot about that, I'm sorry. And I'm going to put it on like this. Oh. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep my pants right side out, dummy. And I want to be able to see the inside of my pants as I sew. So I'm going to do what I said the first time. I'm going to put the waistband face down with, oh, well, I'm only going to see it on one side. All right, so on this, sorry. So on this side, okay, so see, it's right there. So you want to make sure, and this is why, remember when I did the zipper last week, you want to make sure that the top stop is a 1/2 inch from the top of here. So when you sew, it'll be right there. All right, so we're going to hand walk it on this side, but we'll get this side over with first. Hold on, let me just pin it back. I was like, I want to be able to see it. So we'll see it on the other side as we go. So you can only see the zipper on one side. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this in here. And we want to make sure we are just sewing over the pants and the waistband. Do not catch your facing in the stitching because that would be sad. So I'm just going to start stitching here. I'm going to back tack and I'm going to remove my pins as I come to them. Now when I get to where I see myself going to my zipper, there's the tape, I'm literally going to hand walk it. So if Frank is still here, Frank, I am operating the machine by turning the hand wheel. Now listen to that. That's where the top stop is. So I'm just going to scooch myself over slightly so I go right over the top of it. And then once I'm sure I cleared it, then I can start pressing on the gas again. So what I'm talking about here is we want to make sure we're not catching the spacing in the stitching. So every now and then I'm going to go there and check. So we're going to sew all the way around here. I'm pressing my darts towards the side seam. Uh-oh, Diane, I have clips that are upside down now. So just so you know, when you're using these Wonder clips, the clear side should be face down like this. Because, and I want to make sure that my seam allowances are going towards the back. Oh, I'm actually at the center back now. This is the center back. So, but you want to make sure the clips are, the clear part of the clip is face down because they come off easier. And I want to make sure that my back seam allowance is facing the way I'm going to top stitch it. I forgot to top stitch. That's the other thing I have to do. So you want to make sure that's in agreement with your center front. I'm just going to clip this goober off while I'm here. So I feel like, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with, oh, I'm driving Diane crazy. Diane is like she is my monitor for clips. So I'm going to fix them now because I don't want to drive her crazy. Plus, they are easier to remove if they're right side up. All right. So this fabric is like I don't know if you're familiar with that brand Carhartt men's workwear. This is the exact color, and it's got the same texture as Carhartt. So I feel like these pants are going to be my heavy duty pants. Frank says, thanks for showing us how to thread the machine and how to wind the bobbin. Very nice of you. Well, you're very welcome, Frank. Thank you for joining us. Karen says, why do you use organ needles? I have always used Smets, but I have seen organ needles pop up on many websites. Thanks. All right, so organ needles are really, I mean, I think, you know, Smets is probably the gold standard of needle, but I know you can't see me because I've got that in front of my face, but organ needles are also a very good quality needle, and they actually make a really, really nice machine embroidery needle that's got a more substantial shaft and a little bit bigger of a hole, and then that will it lasts longer and it's stronger than a regular needle. Uh-oh, look what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I, woo, look what I started to do. You have to pay attention to your facing. I caught it, so I'm just gonna uncatch it right here. Okay, let me just, notice I'm using the ball side, sticking it in there to get rid of that. So make sure you're always checking your seam to make sure you're not catching anything you shouldn't be catching. Sometimes I start talking and I get distracted. But organ needles are a good quality. And then here's another thing. There's been times I've used the organ needle that's designed for the embroidery in my serger because it gives me a little bit better of a result. Oh, when you get a chance later on, could you list to film how to operate the sewing machine electric foot pedal, please? All right, if I can find a good tutorial for that, I will put that up there for you, Frank. And Sally says, I wear Carhartt pants a lot, but the fit is not good for me. That's what I'm trying to reproduce to make my own pants better fitting Carhartt type. All right, so if you like the fabric of Carhartt, there's a link to LA Finch fabric in the description below the video. You can get some of this tan cotton. It feels just like Carhartt. Feels just like Carhartt cotton to me. All right, we're coming to the end. Okay. All right, so when I get to the end here, I want to make sure that obviously I am sewing across all this zipper stuff without anything popping up. So see, I'm making sure this is flat. I'm making sure this is flat. And then when I get here, I'm making sure I sew just over the top of the top stop. And I'm, again, turning the hand wheel on the left side of the machine with my hand to make sure I can stop at a moment's notice if I hit it. And I'm going right across it. And yeah, I made it. Okay. All right, let's see. Seamstress at the cottage says, I must see if I can find some organ needles here in South Africa. Woo! All the way from South Africa. Welcome. Okay, let's look and see what we have. And then Julie says, why did you purchase that fabric? It does look very similar to Carhartt, which is a common choice for clothing in our household. Well, honestly, I'll tell you why I picked it. Because I found it, you know, I was looking for a good khaki fabric, and this fabric that I made my first pair out of, this fabric I had in my stash, and I just want to show you here. I don't know if you can see, but the inside of the thighs are already rubbing and pilling, because this is like a cotton sateen I got from somewhere. I don't even know where I got this fabric from. But you can see in here, can you see how it's already pilling? Let me see if I zoom in if you can see. See the pills? So I really wanted to try to find something that looked really durable, because once I make a pair of pants, I want to wear them to death, especially because these are so comfortable. And I don't want all that pilling in the inner thigh area. So that's why I got this fabric, because it seemed like it would be very durable. This fabric is from LA Finch, and I do have a link to it in the video below. So if you want something really heavy duty, let's zoom in on it really quick before anybody buys it. I want to show you. It's almost got a honeycomb. Let me see if I brighten it up here. So see, it's almost got like a honeycomb, or it's not a diagonal twill weave. It's got some texture to it, but I really like it. And I'm hoping it's going to be really durable. I mean, I've already worn these pants quite a bit without the waistband sitting in my chair teaching. So, all right, so the next step here is I'm just going to zip up my zipper and make sure it matches nice. So when I flip this up and I flip this up, you know, I can see that that's going to be a good match right there, see? And it's also matching on top, I think. I think that's going to be okay. So the next step is we're going to press. All right, and so to press these, what I'm going to do is I want to press the seam allowance up. So again, I am going to press, and at the center back, I'm just going to hold it there for a second, just to really nail down my center back, because it is tough fabric. And then I'm going to press the seam allowance up all the way. Let me do it this way so you can see a little bit better probably. So again, I'm getting in there and I'm just pressing up. Seam allowance up. It's going to work a little at a time here. All of this seam allowance is going to be encased inside of the waistband facing. Okay, so see how nice and flat that is? Okay, so let's start over here and just press this up. Up, 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 up. Okay. All right, so now we have that pressed. The next step is I am going to work on this side first. I'm going to take the pins out now. I think they've been on there long enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut my seam allowance. See how the end is sticking out? Probably, let me just show you here. Get my ruler. Put over there. Okay, so let me turn it this way now. All right, so see how the end is sticking out about an inch, almost an inch and a quarter. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold my ruler up against my center front edge like this, and I'm going to use my handy dandy chalk to mark that like this. Okay. I mean, even on the white, I can see it. I don't know if you can, but I can still see it. And then I'm going to cut it off, leaving maybe 3/4 of an inch on that side. And then over here, I'm just going to take these pins out now. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mark where it's matching. And see, I'm using this right here to guide my way up. So again, that's where I'm going to want to fold it to see how that's all lined up right there. Then I can, just going to move this out of the way here. Maybe make it a little less bright. Maybe a little higher up like that. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm going to use that line I drew, and I'm going to cut it so it's like 3/4 of an inch from there. Like this. Okay, so I've got rid of that extra, and then I'm going to get rid of this extra. And again, I'm going to make it 3/4 of an inch. Okay. All right, so I've gotten rid of my extra. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this up on the line. And I'm going to give that a good press. Now this is the side that I don't have to worry about turning the edge under of the facing because the zipper is not here. It's on the other side. We're going to have to worry about that. Then I'm going to press it down. And remember, when we press it down, we want to press it so, let me turn it this way so you can see. When we press it down, we want to press it so the actual edge of the, so you can see the edge of the pant right there. Then what I'm going to do, remember, I don't want to risk any of this showing. Just zoom in a little bit so you can see right here. Okay, so I don't want to risk any of this showing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm literally going to just turn this corner up just a little bit like that. And actually, I think I'm also going to, whoops, where's my scissors? I'm going to clip this corner just a little bit to get rid of some of that bulk. So I've clipped that, oops, I'm sorry, I've clipped that at an angle. See? Is that nice and sharp? There we go. And then I'm going to fold this down. And I'm just going to turn up that little edge right there like that. So see how nice that looks? And I'm going to just secure that with one of these little clips for now. And then I'm going to baste all these layers together before I sew. All right, so then from the right side, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my magic pins to pin through the facing along the seam line. And I want to make sure that the seam allowances are up and the facing is laying nice and flat. So I'm going to check it on both sides as I pin. So see it, well, you want it to look like this, nice and smooth. So I'm just going to pin around, feeling for the seam allowance. Make this a little bit bigger. Feeling for that seam allowance. and the facing. And I'll just keep checking both sides to make sure it's nice. I don't know if you can hear the wind, but the wind is whipping so hard outside. I feel like the house is going to get blown away. Okay. All right, so see what I'm doing? I'm just pinning a little bit at a time, making sure that I'm pinning the seam allowance up and the facing down nice and flat. So see, from the inside it looks like this. At the center back, I'm going to make sure I put a pin right there. Oh, and oh look, I didn't match up my center backs perfectly. Darn it. I'm never going to wear my pants inside tucked in though, so it's okay. All right, we're coming around to the other side, and then we're going to have to fix or really pay attention to that other end of the face of the waistband. So of course in my mind I thought I could do all of this waistband and hems all in like an hour and a little bit. Let's see how far we can get here. All right, so I've got it pinned almost all the way around, nice and neat. But what we need to pay attention to now is this end. So this is the more complicated end here because we've got the zipper to deal with. So first I'm just going to press it up, or press it, you know, in on the end here, like this. I'm just going to hold that there for a second because it's a pretty heavy cotton. Then once I get that, I'm going to clip this little corner to reduce that bulk. And then I'm going to press this down. Okay, and I'm going to put a clip at the top right here. Then you can see what's going to happen here. I'm going to have to fold this up and I'm going to tuck on this side. I'm going to take this skinny fabric and I'm going to tuck it around inside this edge. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm literally tucking it around there, and once it's tucked, again, I'm just going to pin it, and then I'm going to also hand baste it. So this one's going to get 2 pins for now. Now the one thing I'll say about these clips versus these clips, these hold and do not fall off, but I think these magic clips from Taylor Seville have a lot more force to hold them shut. So that's why I'm using these to hold that. But then basically you can see once I've clipped that in 2 places, and I'm going to use my, hold on, I've got to find something here. My little pokey thing. All right, I'll use this. I can't find my pokey thing. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers, and I'm going to make sure from this end right here where you can see it, I'm going to make sure that that cotton facing is really in there nicely. So see, you just want to make sure it's laying in there nice and flat so it'll look nice and flat. And then I'm going to just turn this edge up so that the top stop shows right there. Pin it, and then we'll be ready to sew it. So again, I'm just gonna put a pin here to hold it. You know, and I just want to make sure on the inside that my facing is laying nice and flat. You know, so I'm just taking a look. Like, see right here, I might say to myself, these two pins have to come out, and I'm just going to make sure they're laying nice and flat. And then I'm going to put the pins back in. So check front and back and make sure that everything is laying nice and flat. I'm just going through and double checking that. You know, you can even, at this point, you can even give it, you know, one more press from the inside. And like if it's not laying flat, take the pin out and just make sure it's going to lay nice and flat, and then put the pin back in. I was thinking about interfacing this cotton, but then I decided I didn't want to have more bulk. So see, I'm just going to give it a nice smooth press, and then I'm going to sew it. Okay. All right, so now, I mean, I think the success of a waistband is how much prep you put into lining it up and making sure everything is laying nice and flat. Because if you pin everything and press everything, then it's just a matter of sewing along the bottom edge. And if you want to go all the way around the waistband, you can. Alternatively, you can hand sew this little part permanently shut and then just sew across the bottom edge and leave the top unsewn. Or if you want to sew all the way around, you can sew all the way around. So you have choices on how to sew the waistband on after you've prepped it. But I'll tell you, the success of your waistband is going to be how much you prep and take your time in pressing it, checking to make sure the facing is laying nice and neat. Because if you do all that work, then it will in fact look nice because you've done all the prep in terms of getting everything to lay nice and neat. So that's my little story on that. I'm just going to move all these clips out of the way and move this out of the way. You know, again, I'm going to get my little needle and thread here. Of course, now I have red thread, but it doesn't matter because it's going to come out. But again, I'm just going to start up at the top here, leave a tail, and I'm just going to whip stitch these shut so they're even. And then I'm going to just top stitch this. Now for, oops. Okay, so for the hemming techniques I wanted to show you, I'm going to show you on my red linen pants how to fold your hem for a blind hem. I thought it would be kind of cool to not see the stitching on the hem of the linen pants. And then these pants, I'm going to actually just top stitch the hem up. And then, like I said before, when I mentioned that I was going to fray the edge of the front pocket, I'm also going to fray the finished edge of the hem as well. So that's going to be my plan for these. And I'll show you more of it later. I need to get these done because I really want to wear them when I go to Puyallup on Tuesday. So anyway, all right, so you can see how nice it is when you just take a minute and baste. And you guys know I am not I am not a baster. Like the fact that I'm taking a few minutes to actually hand sew something tells you that this step has a lot of value for the finished product if you take the time to do this. And around the edge here, I'm literally just going to um, keep basting until I get past where I folded it in, like this. You know, and again, you can see it only really took me like a minute or two to do it. It's not a time-consuming thing. So I'm going to stop there because it's holding around my corner. And then I'm going to baste the other side, and then I'll show you how easy it is to top stitch this while it's all prepped like this. So again, on this side, we're just going to baste it. I know certain people, if they saw me doing this, they would probably fall over. Hi, Kay, welcome. Oh, you like the dress? Kay, I'm showing that I'm actually hand basting the ends of my waistband shut so they don't shift when I top stitch them closed. This is a huge extra fancy step for me, but it's something that I think really makes a big difference in terms of how it will look, because like I said, you don't have to worry about it shifting around. And I'm only putting like maybe 5 stitches down the center front edge. I'm not, you know, going crazy sewing it shut. I'm just hand tacking it together. You know, and again, I just want to make sure I don't pull out my tail. I didn't tie a knot. I just left like a 2 or 3 inch tail. Okay. All right, so when I get to this bottom area, I'm going to really make sure it's wrapped as closely around the center front edge as it can be. And this is where basting here will really come in handy to hold it. Uh-oh, Frank's giving us a recommendation for a sewing machine foot pedal video that's going to be amazing. From a Deborah Carmona find. All right, well, yay. That's good, Frank. Okay. All right, so again, I'm just basting this, and I'm going to baste it. And as I get to the bottom, I'm going to use my tweezers. Can't find my tweezer, so I'm going to use the end of a clip just to really push it in. Want to make sure that's in there as far as it can go. And then I'm just going to put a stitch in there to hold it. Okay, now that I'm down to the bottom, I'm going to just come inside here. And I'm literally just going to catch the inside and the bottom edge where it's folded just a little bit. And here I'm just going to do like a stitch every ½ inch. I'm not going to go crazy. I just want to hold it in place while we're top stitching. So I'm literally just catching the inside of the fly piece and catching the folded edge like that, see? And I'm going to take this pin out because we won't need it. And then I'm just going to Just going to stitch right across the twill tape. And I'm just going to keep going until I get to the end of this right fly piece, or I'm sorry, left fly, like this. All right. So see, now I've got this all nice and basted, and it will be nice and nice because it's ready to go. All right. So now I'm just going to cut this with a long tail. And we're going to start stitching on the machine, and then the waistband is going to be finished. I'm going to bring back my sewing machine. And what I'm going to do here is, I like to start and stop sewing here because this is overlapped. So when it's closed, you don't see the start and stop point, right? So I'm going to start sewing here. I'm going to go this way. And then of course that means all my pins are in the wrong direction. Ugh. That's annoying. Maybe I won't do that. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go in this direction because I can't do it with all those pins in the wrong direction. So we're just going to go this way. I'm going to turn my pants inside out. Mary said, I think Frank is using you to make you video. His name already has a video showing threading the machine. Another lady, not you, using you to make your YouTube videos. Oh, all right, well, whatever. Frank can, as long as he's not doing anything that goes against my sensibilities, I guess that's okay. All right. All right, so I'm going to start stitching here, and I want to stitch right in the ditch. So literally, I want to stitch in between the waistband and the facing. I don't want to stitch on the top of the waistband. I'm going to make my stitch length like 3.5. Oops, I'm just going to stitch. I got lucky there because I almost hit the needle if you heard that loud noise. All right, so we are just going to stitch along. And again, you know, depending on how you wear your pants, I don't ever, wear anything tucked in these days. So if my stitching is not 100% fabulous, no one's ever going to see it except for me. Although I still try to be perfect. Okay, so you can see that I'm stitching in the ditch. And see, I don't have to worry about anything because everything is nice and pressed and good, so it's very easy to sew it at this point. All right, so Sally says, what is the finish width of your waistband? I want to compare your measurement to the width of my finished waistband from the Sorcha pattern. I think it's 1.5 inches-ish. Let me see. Oh, 1 inch and 5/8. 1 inch and 5/8, Sally. Oh, Diane says, you're right, Mary Smith. I just checked it myself. Well, you know, there's a feature in YouTube where you can actually take a clip of someone else's video and use it or repost it. So if he wants to do that, he can knock himself out, but I will keep my eyeball out for him the next time. All right. All right, so I am gonna just keep stitching here. Now when I get here, I have to be really careful that I'm not catching that zipper stop, which is really close. So I'm gonna have to stitch on the waistband a little bit right there. Woo, I just made it. All right, so when I get to the end, I'm gonna go really close to the end, and then I'm gonna pivot. Oh, I'm gonna go one more stitch actually. I wanna be really, really close. Oh, maybe that's a little too close, so I'm gonna just manually move it over. I want to be about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edges of the waistband and waistband facing here. Okay, and then when I get to the top, oops, I'm going to go like a little tiny bit more. Oh, see, one more stitch is too much, so I have to back it up a little bit, but I just want to make it so it's pretty close. Oh, that'll be good. We're going to rotate around, and now I'm just going to stitch really close to the edge here, like this. We can all go over to Frank's video and comment that it's from J Stern Designs. All right. Okay. What's happening here? I'm just going to keep stitching. You know, so I see how it does kind of suck that your pants need to you know, are in the machine thing now, unfortunately. Oh, Mary, it's not perfect. I mean, it's okay, but I mean, it's not perfect, but again, no one's ever going to see it because I never wear my shirts tucked in. So really, I'm shooting for not embarrassing is what I'm shooting for. But I think you can see the reason why I'm having such an easy time is because I took the time to you know, that I took all that time to press it. So my next pants pattern that I will come out with, I mean, don't expect it anytime soon, but when it does come out, I'm going to use the front pockets. The front pockets bags are going to face the front waistband. So it's going to have a completely different construction. All right. And then, oh, I'm going to hop off. So I hopped one stitch off the actual waistband to go underneath again. And then I'm just going to finish up where I started on this side in the ditch here. I think it won't be noticeable. All right, let's just see what happens. All right, let's see what we have. All right, so I think I'm pretty pleased with this. Ta-da! So I'm happy with that. Here's how it looks on the back side. So I'm happy with that. I am going to put one button right here, and I'm going to position it so that I'm not stitching on that heavy seam allowance. So you can see here's the top of my 1/2 inch seam allowance, right? So I'm going to center that button right here, you know, somewhere right there. And I'm going to center it in the above the fly stitching. So that's where my buttonhole is going to go. And then my button will get sewn over here. So that is the waistband. I'm super excited. Now I just want to show you quickly here for these pants. Now you can see I've done nothing to the bottom edges of these yet. What I'm going to do is I am going to trim all this. I'm going to serge it neatly. I'm going to press it up, and I only have an inch allowance here because I already, you know, checked it in terms of, you know, the length for me. So I'm going to just press it up. Oh, Mary wants to know what button I'm using. Mary, I don't know what button I'm going to use yet. That's why I'm not showing you. I have to go through. I'm going to use something from my mother's button box because right now everything with my mother is very sentimental. So it's going to be one of my mom's buttons, and it's going to be a low profile button because I don't like, if you use a chunky button and you have a belly, then it pops out. So it'll be a low profile button. I will definitely share it with you guys in the group when I get it on there, but I have to look for a button. So the hem on this is literally just going to be folded up an inch after I clean finish the edge, and then I'm just going to top stitch 3/4 of an inch away from the hem. So that's how I'm going to finish these. And just to show you guys, I've already prepped the bottoms of, oh, Mary says that's so sweet. I have both my mom and my grandma's button boxes. I know. I just, anything with my, that has, was my mom's, I keep. I have 6-inch binders, and this, on the spine of the binder it says, let me show you. So my mom, she was a librarian. Look at this. This is craziness. So look how fat that is. And it says Carol stuff there. It wore off with time. But basically, while she was at a librarian, she has tips for things, breakfast recipes, and sometimes it's her handwriting. See? So sometimes this is her actual handwriting. And then she would copy stuff from magazines. So this is all breakfast. And see, here's me. Here's a contribution from me, Strawberry Rhubarb Cobbler, and she saved that and put it in her book. So sometimes there's me. You can tell messy. Cakes, whatever. This is all desserts. Everything in this 6-inch binder or 5-inch binder, whatever it is. And then she has one for gardening too. So I keep all this because my mom put it together. I don't know if I'll ever have time to really look through here, to be honest with you. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. But I keep all her stuff. So handwriting recipes. So the one sad thing is she used to make this rice stuffing for Thanksgiving, and I know she used minute rice. She used Pennsylvania Dutch canned mushrooms, a tad of curry, just like essence of curry, and she made, it was so amazing. And since she hasn't been cooking, every year we try to recreate it. We can't find the recipe. She can't tell us how to make it anymore, so I think we've lost that recipe. So that's sad, but I had that, but maybe she's got it tucked away in one of those binders. I'm going to do research on it and see if I can find it in there. But anyway, so yes. Oh, books and those others they are treasures, Amy. Oh, Mary has her mom's handwritings on recipe cards. So precious. I've taken to making comments and dates for when I use things in my cookbooks. So like my cookbooks have little notes in them. I try to write neat when I'm doing that. All right, I want to show you guys one more thing here. I'm starting to poop out, but if you want to do a blind hem, the first step is to establish your hem. So basically, I've already got this pinned up the amount I need, okay? So once you have that, because you know this is going to be your finished edge here, the next step to doing a blind hem is to create a little ledge where the stitches will go. And if you use like a 4-thread wide serged edge like this, let me just get it so you can see. Let me make it a little bit brighter. I want to make sure this is nice and sharp. Okay, you can just turn it under like this, and this is going to be the ledge where all of your stitching goes. Okay. Oh, Mary says keep asking her at times. Sometimes they can remember. I know. We try. We'll see. Maybe she will. So basically, I put all my pins when I pinned up the hem. If you pin the hem up just underneath that serged edge, then what you can do is flip it like this. Take the pin out, flip it like this, and put the pin on the inside like this. And now you've got the ledge for your blind hem. And the whole idea with the blind hem is you want to have all of your stitching be on the lip except when it jumps over and grabs the fold right there. So this just makes it really easy to prepare your hem, you know, and if you wanted to add a few more pins, you know, you can add a few more pins, but I just thought it'd be kind of cool on this pair to do a blind hem so I didn't have a row of stitching, you know, around my linen pants. So basically that's how you easily prep your pants for a blind hem. And I think what I'll do is I will just show you how to sew a blind hem, and then we'll call it a day. Now I always press my my side seams open, so you can see, you can tell that this is the side seam because it's pressed open. See? Are those the short pin lengths? Yes, this pin length is the 1 7/16, so it's like a 1.5 inch pin. And when they measure the pin, they measure from the end of the handle to the tip of the pin like this. These are perfect for garment sewing. The ones that I bought myself are the longer ones. You can buy longer ones, but these longer ones, I'm going to tell you right now, unless you need them for quilting, see how much longer they are? Let me compare them for you. See the difference? There's about a 1/2 inch more on the longer one, see? So this one bends if you're not using it for something you need a long pin for, like quilting. Amy is asking me if I'm going to do use a blind hem foot. And the answer is yes. So now what I'm going to do here is, will I film the buttonhole on the new Sorchas? I always have trouble. All right, you know what? When I get back from Puyallup, I will do a buttonhole. We'll do a buttonhole when I get back. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get, now the downside is I have to take this off. This on my Brother 6700, I've got the built-in walking feet I like to use for my sewing. See the walking foot right there. So, but for a blind hem, I need to use my, oh my God, don't even tell me. Huh. So my shank for the machine is not in my box. Look at, see, it's missing. And if I don't know where that is, I'm not going to be able to show you how to do a blind hem. So I might have to... Oh my God, I can't even imagine what I did with that. All right, so I think I know where it probably is. I dropped my box on the floor. Let me see if I can find it really quick. If I can't, I'm going to have to show you a different way. All right, well, I think I'm screwed. Hold on, I'm sorry. All right, I'm pretty sure it's down here somewhere, but I don't think I can find it right this second. So, all right, so I did find all of this lovely stuff though. So my shank is missing, so I can't show you. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to show you the foot, and then I'll, oh my God, I'm gonna have to find that. Oh, well, happy dance. The blind hem foot is also missing. Wow. All right, so this is really not spectacular, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I guess I can't show you how to do a blind hem today because I can't find. Did I leave it in here for some reason? Oh, that's so disappointing. All right, so I really, really apologize. I can't show you how to do a blind hem because both the blind hem foot and the shank from my machine are missing, and they're probably on the floor because I dumped the whole tray. Yes, Amy, this is real life sewing. All right, so instead, here's what I'm going to do. Oh my God, things are falling apart left and right now. All right, so here's what I'm going to do instead. I cannot show you how to do it in real life. The pinning idea is so helpful. I love magic pins and I keep them by my ironing board because they can be ironed. Yes, they can be ironed. Okay, so let me just show you here. I'm going to do a pictorial demo of a blind hem. So, oh my God, and then when I get off, I'm going to have to find the actual foot because I'm going to need to do it. Okay. Oh, thank you, Karen. Okay, so this is your pant leg. This is the fold right here. Okay, and then this is the little lip that's sticking out past it. Okay, so this is the lip. The presser foot goes on like this. It looks like, you know, something like a presser foot, but there's a guide sticking out of the middle of the foot, and you want to put the guide on the fold, right? So what happens is as you start stitching, you get straight stitch, straight stitch, straight stitch, and then it jumps and catches the fold, and then you do straight, 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 jump, straight, 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 jump, straight, 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 jump. So that's how you do a blind hem. Now, the idea is you want your jump, the little jump, to just catch a few threads of that folded edge. And if it's catching too much from the right side, you're going to see big lines like this, right? So what you would do is, if the guide, sometimes there's like a little dial on the side, oops, and you can turn it and you can move the guide left and right. So if you're grabbing too much, you want to move the dial that way, and it will push the fold farther away from the needle and you'll grab less. And if you're not grabbing enough, or if you're completely missing the fold, move the guide in and it will catch more. So that's how you can do it if there is a dial, a little dial that you can turn to move. It would be an adjustable blind hem. Now, if you don't have the dial, you can adjust the width of your stitch. So if you're catching too much, make it narrower, and if you're not catching enough, make it wider. So that is my that is my amazing demo on how to do a blind hem, since I don't have my shank or my blind hem foot to show you in real life. So let's remind ourselves here, no Fab Fit Friday next week, because I'm going to be in Puyallup. So let me get my little calendar here. I'm already having separation withdrawal from you guys. I'm going to miss you already. So let me just look here. So on March 10, that's the next Friday I will be home. So on March 10, we are going to do blind hem. We're going to do buttonhole. Okay, blind hem and buttonhole demo on March 10. Okay, so no Fab Fit Friday next week, but we will, on March 10th, we are going to do blind hem and we're going to do buttonholes demonstration. Okie dokie. So that's going to be my report, and I'm hoping maybe I'll have a new pair of pants sewn together so I can show you how to do those things on that. So there you are. So there's your blind hem demo for now. Sorry it's not more fabulous. All right. So please, if you guys have questions or comments about your Sorcha pants, please post them and I will help you, or post them in the group and I will help you. And I will be posting Fit Tip Tuesday this week. It's going to be a review of the magic clips and magic pins and other things I got from Taylor Seville this Tuesday. And then next Tuesday, it's going to be another pants success story. So, and I'm going to try to shoot both those things this weekend, so it'll just be there when I come back on because I'm coming back next Monday. So, I mean next Monday, a week from Monday. So anyway, that's my report. Mary's going to be traveling 300 miles on the 10th, so you'll have to watch the rerun. Okay, Mary, we're gonna send you good vibrations for a safe trip. Sally says, have a blast in Puyallup. Thank you so much. I feel like Mary, Sally, I feel like when I'm in Puyallup, I'm like halfway to your house. So anyway, that's my report. Oh, Amy says, have fun in Puyallup. Karen says, thank you. Have a wonderful time. It's going, I wish I were going, might be going to the garden show in Hartford on Sunday. Oh, Sunday. Well, Sunday, if I'm packed and ready to go Saturday, I am going to watch my daughter play volleyball in Boston on Sunday, because she's playing and she's amazing. So anytime I get a chance to watch her play volleyball, I like to do that. And my other daughter will be reffing at the same tournament, so I can watch her ref, which isn't quite as exciting as watching Abby play, but still, I like to give both my girls, my attention. But anyway, I'm only 1,000 miles away from Sally if I go to Puyallup. I know, that's so close, Sally. Someday I'll get to meet you guys. All right, so I'm going to blast off. I'm taking my red dress. I'm taking both pairs of pants that I'm finishing. I'm going to be rotating those in and out of my booth. So I have samples plus my wardrobe, because it's going to be really tight packing. Anyway, that's my report. Oh, Lori says, thank you, first live. Loved it. Oh, thank you for joining us, Lori. I really appreciate it. And thank you for, catching a live. And Karen says, nice, take your time. Take this time with your girls when you can get it. I know. And the older they get, the more of they have their own lives now, and they're too busy to spend time with me. So, I get as much time in with them as I can. So anyway, all right, you guys, I'm starting to ramble. I know Diane loves when I ramble, but I'm gonna go now. Um, please keep me posted if you need help, and I will see you again very soon. And watch next week on all my socials for sneak peeks of what's happening in Puyallup. So I'm going to be hanging out with Carol from Ditto Form, Joe from French European Dress Form Company. I'm going to get to meet Nick Veros at the fashion show Friday night. And I'm going to hang out with Katrina Walker. I'm like so excited. And I'm going to see other people I haven't seen in a while. So I am kind of excited I'm going. So anyway, thank you guys so much. And I will see you again in 2 weeks, the 10th. Okie doke. All right. Bye.